Let's head to Ghana now. It's a big day in that country, swearing in of President Mahama's second term. And even our president, President Bola Tinubu, is there, as well as other leaders from around the world to witness this day, a history-making day. Let's find out expectations as President Mahama joins us with the Chief Executive Officer of More Steam Limited, Mr. Michael Hammond. Hi, Mr. Hammond. Happy New Year. I think you're on mute because I can see your lips moving, but I cannot hear you. You want to check that out? Okay. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you. So it's a great day. Are there celebrations? It does seem like a lot of Ghanaians before now are very enthusiastic about the swearing in of President Mahama. What's the atmosphere like in the country?
Well, I would say there's a lot of euphoria here, especially within the supporters of the NDC and that of the neutrals within the swing states that voted for the current president. And Ghanaians are happy, especially with the notion that they believe that a listening government is coming into power as compared to the previous one. So it's all excitement here in Ghana.
Yeah, but I don't know how long that excitement will last for. Perhaps you can tell me, because we know that President Mahama has hinted that he was going to review those stands, coming from IMF and all of that, where there were new taxes introduced, and is going to reduce them or stop some of those taxes. But we know that the country does need funding, and the country has already looked the way of IMF. And of course, IMF have their requirements. So, it seems contradictory at this time. I don't know how the picture will play out.
Yes, so within the space of analysts and the economic experts, this is one of the areas that it's very tricky, and we are looking at how is the current government or incoming government going to navigate such a slippery road with just the SONA, the State of the Nation address that the previous government president gave. Ex-President Akufo-Addo did mention that over $300 million has been paid towards debt repayment, and that we cannot afford as a country to default on our debt repayment. So this resonating the fact that there's a lot of maths and calculation that has to go into the new tactics and policies that President Mahama is bringing on board. Because like you rightly said, if you're going to cut down taxes, how are you going to raise extra money or the needed money to be able to service your existing debt? And it will not be a surprising act for us to see the current government coming in, going for external debt finance. So with the whole issue of renegotiating IMF loan, it is good, but then it depends on what the outcome would be. Is it going to be favorable to us? If it's not going to be favorable to us, then we are just going to rub salt in our own wounds. And so there's a whole lot currently that we are looking out for with regards to the economic side of the government and the country as a whole. For instance, we have about 11.3 million employed people in Ghana, and we have just over 33 million population. So about 4.5 million within the working class are not employed. So the expectation now is not just on the debt finance and then how we are going to navigate the complexity of IMF, but it's also about job creation and then making sure that the youth are a part or center of whatever policies we are bringing in to reduce the hardship on every Ghanaian as well as create job employment for the youth, reduce cost of living and inflation. So there's a whole lot going on here. And we are keeping our fingers crossed as Ghanaians, and we hope that he will be able to do the work.
Yeah, and I believe the bondholders will be looking even closer than you as a manufacturer, because they would remember what they went through in 2024 when the government couldn't meet up with paying, and then they had to be restructuring, and I think it was like twice. So I'm sure those group of individuals would be more anxious about what's going to happen to their investment.
Exactly. So, I mean, after the whole restructuring and all that, you would realize that most of the debt instruments that the government floated or wanted to sell to the general public were not fully subscribed. So that's even telling the broader picture of the domestic investor confidence in the outgoing government. And with the incoming government, the issue is that, do we trust them enough to start going in for all these debt instruments and all that? And if this has happened before in the past with the previous government where debt restructuring had to happen, are we safe putting in our money into government treasuries, thinking that it is safe, as in finance we say RF is risk-free, but now we all know that it's no more risk-free. So these issues with individuals, investors, there is a whole feeling as to whether the NDC government now would turn a different page as compared to what the NPP government has done. And so there is no certainty as of now with regards to how safe an investor, a domestic investor is, or a foreign investor is, until we see the policies that he's going to roll out.
Yeah, but I guess that some investors or even non-investors would have to look back a bit to see the precedent of President Mahama. Maybe that's why there's a bit of excitement, even as he's being sworn in for a second term. Perhaps if you cast your mind back to how he performed in the first term, that might give some hope.
Exactly what we are hoping for, because, His Excellency came out and said in one of his speeches that he has had enough time to reflect on his stay in power and things that went wrong, and he's coming back more informed and with more understanding. So on the premise of these comments made by him, I think there is some cushion of comfort as to, well, if the man has changed and he's learned from his mistakes, then he's likely to perform better with regards to debt repayment, and we wouldn't hopefully have another debt restructuring, because I do not envisage a full acceptance of any other debt restructuring that any government or the NDC government will throw out now. No, I don't think they will have the support the NPP government had.
Yeah,
people will kick against it. Yeah.
And we're not looking forward to another round of protests in that country because of the disruption that it brings, and risk to life and economic activities and all of that. Certainly, we do not hope for that. But for you as a manufacturer in Ghana, what are your expectations? What do you see as we begin the year with your new president?
Well, as manufacturers and then business owners in Ghana, we are looking out for, one, a good fight against corruption, because it is really difficult to do clean business in Ghana as it stands now. And it's all anchored on the premise of what? Corruption, give me something for me to give you what is rightfully yours. This is something we don't want to see in our system anymore. We know corruption has been there from the time of Adam, but we do not want to see it in fact, grow into a more sophisticated one that people think that, look, this is it, and we are infusing it in our activities. We are also expecting to see a reduction of waste. We are paying so much tax. There are so many taxes. We are currently even paying COVID levy 1%. COVID is long gone. We are still paying levy in Ghana. And you ask yourself, what are these monies used for? There is nothing visible to show for all these. So we are looking out for waste reduction. But for us in the manufacturing, we're also looking at what? Good support for what? Farmers. Because for agriculture, industrialization, most of our raw materials, we are looking at farmers and all that. And if there is not enough support for farmers, well, like we had in the previous section where fertilizers for farmers are diverted and being sold on the market, we shouldn't be. We are looking at good road systems. So yes, NPP government had started a lot of road projects, which is good. We are expecting the current government to continue because there are a lot of perishable goods out there in the farmland which are unable to get to the urban areas for processing and for export on time. So we are looking at transport, support for farmers, industrial growth as well, policies that promote manufacturing, that reduces our dependency on import and rather make us more of an export country. So these are some of the things we are looking out for. It's not going to be easy, but I mean, that's why we voted for him. So we want to see how best he can handle this.
Yeah, well, we hope and believe with you that it will come out. He will come out, President Mahama will be successful. And his success, of course, will be to the good of Ghana and for the continent. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Michael Hammond, the Chief Executive Officer of More Steam Limited, all the way from Accra.
Thank you.